Greetings, Jedi Traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the technical outlook for week 47 of 2017. It is November 19th as the market is ready to open. Globex Sunday. Here we go. As always, please seek financial advisement when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. To support your knowledge in the market, see what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right, Jedi Traders, good to see you. Again, getting through the fall here, trying to keep up with the videos, and we'll soon get on those recaps as I keep incorporating the recaps into the outlook. So soon enough, and get those ETF videos rolling as well. Again, you could capture those links here on my website or my YouTube channel. All right, week 26. Let's just take a couple minutes. Let's just see where technically we were last week. Again, a lot of news waiting on those tax reform, and sure enough, that's where we ended the week after Russell getting a move back up, closing that gap up to that all-time high. NQ bouncing back up to an all-time high, but you can see across the board we laid down some new open gaps. We'll take a look at even the bigger picture. Where is the nearest open gap on all these indices? Is pretty much the story been for 2017. It's kind of getting old, but hey, those long-term ETFs, long-term investments are sure paying off as they roll up. TQQQ from a buy leveraged on the NQ up almost 70% from January. Amazing. But we're talking about the futures here today. We'll take a look at some ETFs as well. But there is the big picture for week 46. So we could see really a lot of chop around for the YM and the ES, the NQ. Again, pulling back off that move on a Thursday. All right, so there was our daily gaps. Let's take a look at the ES quickly on the daily and weekly. The S&P 500, as we see moving up here. As we can see, the MMLs, the Murray math levels, again, another fractal indicator. You can be used intraday, can be used long-term. I'll show you at the end of the video where you can get more information on Murray math levels, but I'm looking for the combination, including those trend charts that you can check out on my week 46 recap there, the highlights of the week. But hey, when you got trend, you have trend intraday, and we've been long trend. As we can see, ES has been moving for the most part over the last year, uptrend, and we're now at the MML highs. We had some points of consolidation, but here we are at the upper levels of the MML. I don't like to necessarily say that overbought is overbought and that's it. We could still move higher. You see the levels there up to 2607.50 on the daily and 1725 on the ES. But right now, what I'm looking for, at least on a weekly, is I'm looking for price action to break back down below 2500. Then I could say we're definitely in somewhat of a pullback to 2343, and then we want to look at where does 2343 line up on the daily. Well, surely it's all the way down. So if you notice, the 2500 is the support down here. So if the ES is unable to hold up here at the highs here, then we'll start looking down at 2500, which will definitely be a first target on the ES. But right now, momentum still holding upside as the moving averages really haven't crossed. We could see the 10-period EMA, WMA really hugging the line there. Price action and very different as we saw back here in October. Holding above the key moving averages is really struggling here and just holding on to that short term. Find a little bit of support off the 50, but as long as we're holding up here, there's that 2500, that cloud, we're still in a momentum upside on the ES, which is supported by that's right, the SPY right there. Same picture, same story. Losing a little bit of ground to the 10-period weighted moving average, but again, we're on a short-term MML, long-term MML. We're up here at the highs, but the weekly still maintains its strength upside. So I got to go with the big picture, still momentum to the upside on the SPY ES S&P 500. All right, supporting some of this move in the market, it's not just the ES. We could take a look at some of the ETFs. Let's take a look at the total stock market index. We could see still a little bit of struggle up here as we've gotten to these highs. You know, what's the next thing that's going to lay this market down to make the next move? Earnings have been pretty good, represented by some of the ETFs, some of the indices out there. But right now, hey, we just keep heading upwards, but a little bit of consolidation here on the total stock market index. Taking a pause, which just might mean the next move higher. Anything below, we'll want to see a break of these key moving averages. So I think you can appreciate the, again, everybody wants to know when is that pullback going to come? Well, we don't have it yet. All we can see is we're continuing an uptrend. So your best management is just moving stops higher. That might be your best defense at this point. All right, taking a look what supports also the VTI. I take a look at the FFTY, the IBD50, having a nice breakout in week 46 here above major support resistance and still headed higher. So the IBD50, fundamentally strong stocks, and supported by the CAN GX, the CAN Slim also on a breakout up here above the 10-period moving average. So again, week 46, a strong week for strong fundamental stocks, which makes me, from a technical perspective, still in a momentum to the upside. Also supporting the move, also the ETF represented by the FANG stocks and Microsoft there holding upside, a little bit of a breakout. So again, technicals on the tech industry still very strong. All right, taking a look at the dollar as most of these markets still moving up. There it is. We had a little bit of, I've been talking about this for a while here, even a couple weeks ago in the last Outlook. Price action, we needed to break this 24.75 area, these MML highs. We didn't. It held, and then if we had gotten above that, then we could have started looking at the next level, which was around 25. But we're holding here on a weekly. The momentum is still downside from the highs to the low. So I'm looking at 23.44, and the daily surely showing the trending HA bars to the downside. So we'll be looking down to these levels first for support. If we break this, then obviously I'm looking even further down. Well, I'm sure looking for 44 first. 83 first down here on the daily before we hit the 44 on the weekly. Sure enough to see, we'll see if the support holds on the dollar. All right, so there's your week 46 recap. Again, momentum still pretty much strong as we roll into week 47. One thing I've been talking about both in the trading room and out there on Twitterville is the fact of watching the AD lines and as well as the index. Here you can see the NYAD, the NIAD, as you want to see these. You don't want to see divergence. You want to see them both in the same direction. So if the AD line is coming down, you also want to see the index. So that was a good short to start the week out, or actually before the week, and that's how we ended off almost last week as we turned and finished out. But again, we got that nice bounce towards the end of the week. So again, just another tool that you can watch for your long terms, but as far as intraday, that's not something I'm watching. I'm watching these as the bigger picture and seeing where is that first indicator going to be a turnaround. This could be one of those studies that you can watch as well. All right, headed into, as the market Globex is set to open up here in about 15 minutes here on Sunday. Let's take a look at some of the key moving averages that I watch. I apologize, not key moving, key indices. Let's jump to the open gaps here. As we can see, this is the bigger picture. As I wanted to show you, volume's been pretty decent, not too bad. About average, that's a 60-day period average here as the RTY continues to build up some volume here as it rolls over the TF symbol from the ICE exchange. But here, all-time high still sitting up here. The nearest open gap down at 1405 market on the charts. NQ again just set a open gap here, 81.50. Any pullback this week will be looking there, as well as the deeper pullback, which is still sitting back from October here towards the end, 60.85.75. YM set a new open gap next week, nearest one 121, major open gap, and ES got a big drop here to 24.73 and 40.65 before it closes out here 71.5. All right, so taking a look at the indices, let's start with the Russell big picture price action here. Again, we take a look at a 100-tick chart here on an intraday basis. I'm looking at a 10.7 Flex Renko. That's a combination of Heiken Ashi bars to indicate trend, as well as the Flex Renko. I know there's been some issues here with the CR charts and Flex Renko. I haven't updated my charts. I'm still on an earlier version, so I will stick with that as long as I can to show me the indicator. Again, you could try working with other studies. You could still try minute bars. You could try just plain old Renko bars. You could still work with just HA bars. It's up to you whether you're combining. But again, we're using moving average on an intraday basis, a smaller time frame. But let's just appreciate the bigger picture at this point. If you're interested more in the intraday basis, go ahead and I'll give you the information at the end how you can join us. Anyway, here we go on a daily picture on the Russell. We saw the pullback off the resistance here, so it's a nice play on the MML. Again, you would say at this point on the daily, we should be headed down around 37.50, as the weekly also showed a resistance on the same levels. So I'd be looking down at 37.50, as the Russell was really the leading indicator that the markets, the indices might turn down. But we did get that push back up at the end of the week. So we do have the 10 under the 50. We got a little bit of resistance. I gotta see where things are headed. I'm a little bit up in the air on this, as if I were to say the bigger picture is the Russell is still downside. Momentum is still downside, but we'll have to see, at least on an intraday basis. You got to be ready for both directions. But resistance here at the 50 holding right now. I got to go with that the probability is if we hold here, that we're going to come down and hit 37.50 to close out the week. But let's move into some of the other indices, which are showing a little bit more strong a trend, as the NQ. Again, a little bit of choppiness there in week 46. Right now we're came back down to 10. The overall momentum on the NQ back upside as we made a new all-time high. So, looking up here to around 406.25 will put us also up at the weekly resistance. So we do have a little bit more room. Any pullback at this point will start to work. Watch the range cloud here down to the 50 period moving averages, which would put us around 61.40. Obviously, 61.40 on a daily would put us down near the major support. On a shorter time frame, on the bigger time frame here, just a little bit above, and as well keep us still in the upper range on the weekly. So momentum still upside. I got green and above the range, but with a little bit of choppiness, and we got a couple of economic indicators this week that might might pull us back. Even though we do have a quiet, we'll have to see. It's a pre-holiday. It's somewhat of a quiet week with holiday session coming up. All right, ES again, big picture. I showed you on the ES momentum. I still got to go on the big picture, but week 46 we gave a lot of chop, but we're struggling. We're struggling to get higher here as we continue to hit the short-term 10-period moving average. So it's kind of like just a steady hold here as price action still in the 12-month uptrend. We're holding upside, but we could see anything upside. We're starting to look up here. We got the breakout to 25.97. The high would be 26.17, but right now momentum still, I got to go with the green. It's still momentum upside if we can hold above the 10 and at least above the 50 heading into week 47. All right, take a look at the, let's take a look at the YM chart here. Again, still also struggling, at least on a tick range chart. Again, I know where the bigger picture is, but as far as the shorter term basis, momentum kind of pushing back here. So I got to give a slight edge to the pullback here. But again, the bigger picture is still upside in the momentum. But as we continue, and this is what I've said week after week, as long as we continue to push upside, we just got to redraw those shorter time frames. And that's where the MMLs, the Murray math levels, come into play and then can be very helpful. So again, we're looking back up to 594 if we can hold upside, which would eventually push us up to maybe 750 on a weekly. But we got to get the 100-tick chart here to regain traction back above the 10-period moving average if we're going to get up there. All right, taking a look at the, we've covered the Russell, ES, NQ. Yep. ES, same picture. All right, we covered it all. Let's take a look at the crude. Crude again, nice moves on the crude. We're now in the 2018 contracts here. Price action holds to the range, up at the 57s. We're making that move back up, holding again up here in the upper MMLs on the weekly. So we want to look for the breakout of 57.81 to get up to the next level, which would put us up around near 58.59. So momentum, again, a little bit of pullback at the end of the week, but still holding strong. If any pullback, watch the 50s, obviously, for the first initial support. Down here, 53.20, which would put us here on a daily at the major support. Anything deeper, we'd start to look back down to 50. And wrapping up on the gold, as we mentioned, the dollar, gold getting a lift, Bitcoin, all in the news here. Price action again, we've mentioned on the daily, a lot of chop, but we're here at the lows and we're holding MML lows. So I got to go with the top target up here, 13.12.5, as we are starting to hold up and we're starting to see a little bit of a green momentum bias in the change. If we get that 10 above the 50, I got to go with the gold indicator up on the gold. So price action, again, bigger picture what we talked about with the pullback was to 1250, which might happen if we lose the strength here. But right now, price action, we got to break above this 1296 to get up here to 13.12.5. All right, there are the charts. Walking into Globex session here for the open here in just a little bit. Price action, I like to use the 30-minute MMLs. You can see where the support level is. Again, the methodology on the MMLs is you want to get below the support. You want to see if price action holds here without hitting the reversal. If you show trend holding here and we break back upside, that might be the first indicator that momentum might turn back up on an intraday basis. A whole nother picture that we use. Let me go ahead and pop up a chart here to show you exactly where we're talking about on an intraday basis. Here's one indicator of a turnaround. Again, we're using the MMLs down here at the lows. Price action crosses over, pulls back, and then we want full indicators. We want all the bars in the green and the momentum to the upside for some super trends like we see here on the Russell, where price action crosses over. Again, intraday basis, taking it down a couple notches on the tick charts, holding above the range and giving you a nice trend for the day on an intraday basis. ETFs long-term, whole nother story, but you can implement the strategy for both. All right, Jedi traders, I believe that's all on the charts. We've covered it all. They're the daily gaps. Keep those in mind as we roll into week 47. All right, taking a look at the economic calendar. We do have some companies reporting out. We have Salesforce this week, HP, and Dollar Tree. Again, FOMC minutes here on Wednesday. We have durable goods orders. We have consumer sentiment this week, I believe. At least it's down on my chart here. I'll have to check that. And again, pre-holiday session Friday. It will be open, but that's up to you if you got to sit in front of the computer on Friday and trade. All right, so I got to go with the big picture. Big picture for me is still uptrend and momentum, but again, with a little bit of hint of pullback. We'll have to see how it plays out this week. Again, it seems tax reform seems to play in any geopolitical landscape, can always change it up. All right, guys, as usual, I've been posting the technical momentum outlook, the weekly recap. One thing we've stopped is the daily trend videos for now. Again, I'm putting more focus on these and the ETFs. For the long term, I've held back from the ETFs for a little bit. Again, I'm trying to balance everything, but we want to get that going. As you can see, we recap some of the key ETFs, at least for the momentum indicators. Again, I highly encourage you guys, if you're looking for long-term strategies, check out jasonkelly.com. You can check out his YouTube channel. Very straight up, simple strategy of making more than 3% per quarter, moving it in between an index fund and a bond account. All right, that concludes this week's insight into technical momentum for the markets as we see it. Feel free to stop by here at my website, tradingfibs.com, for any more information. You can check out my social media outlets. Also, you can obtain more information. Just simply check out all the tabs. It's one simple strategy, any market, any chart, any time frame. You're not happy with range charts, you can try it on minute charts. Try the MMLs strategy as well. If you're interested in more information on MMLs, check out my education tab here on the website. Right there under MML, you got some supplemental videos that you can watch as well. You can find me every day on Twitter at Trading Fibs, where I go ahead and post charts intraday as well as recaps at the end of the day. I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I'm only watching the setups that's in front of me in my charts with some very highly qualified traders in a screen share trading room 24/5 every day, open all the time. And simply, if you leave your bias at the door when trading, amazing things can happen. Hey guys, if you're interested in joining us, like-minded traders, feel free to mosey on over to the membership page. Just go ahead and click there, and feel free to email me, david@tradingfibs.com. You may join us to view the live chart setups as they happen in the trading day. All right, guys, wishing you all a happy holiday as we roll into the U.S. Thanksgiving week here. I'm assuming volume might start to diminish before the end of the week, so it's up to you what your plans are. So until then, to you and your families, wishing you all a Blue Zone week, a Blue Zone day. My name is David from Trading Fibs. Have yourselves a great day, a great week, a good night, and good trading to you.